Very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Broom with the CBC Evening News. In our top story tonight, the man charged with discharging a firearm in Fairchild Street last Friday appeared in court today. 2 people were injured as a result. CBC's Tristan Ward has this report.
30-year-old Rico Grimes of Maxwell Hill, Christchurch, appeared at the District A Magistrates Court before Magistrate Christy Coffey Sargent. Grimes, who terrorized Fairchild Street last Friday, is now facing a number of charges. These include 2 counts of serious bodily harm to Karen Straker and Knut Ward, along with 2 counts of discharging a firearm in a public place on August 11th. His 5th charge is the unlawful possession of cannabis just 1 day after his shooting spree. And it is not his first time in court. Grimes was previously accused of the shooting death of Carrie Bailey in 2011. A 24-year-old woman also appeared before Magistrate Coffey Sargent, charged with the harboring of the Christchurch man. Patrice Downs was granted bail of $10,000 and is expected to return to court on the 22nd of November. Meanwhile, Grimes had been remanded to Dodds Prison until the 12th of October. Tristan Ward, CBC News.
Government is seeking to cut its high electricity bills by installing solar panels on over a dozen state-owned buildings. Word of this from Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, Senator Darcy Boyce. The senator was speaking after signing an agreement with the company contracted to do the installation. Sharika Griffith has more.
The Queen Elizabeth Hospital, the Grantley Adams International Airport and the Samuel Jackman Prescott Polytechnic are among the 13 government buildings involved in the project. Dubbed the Public Sector Smart Energy Program, its main objective is to promote the use of renewable energy and energy efficiency in the public sector. Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, Senator Darcy Boyce, says it's part of the effort to reduce the country's dependence on fossil fuels.
It's gone down now, but it's still in the range of 5%, those 5% of GDP and fossil fuel imports, most of which, 40% or so, use in the generation of power. So we want to reduce that dependence on fossil fuel imports because that dependence makes us less resilient to economic changes. So we want to build our economic resilience by reducing our use of foreign exchange for fossil fuels.
Senator Boyce was speaking as he signed an agreement with local company SolarWatt, which is to start the installation work from October. Managing Director Joshua Hunt has congratulated government on choosing a local contractor.
We see no reason why projects like these are outsourced to overseas companies when we have the skills and a knowledgeable workforce right here in Barbados. So we're very proud to say that SolarWatt Systems is a 100% Barbadian-owned company, and 100% of the labor force will be Barbadians that will be doing this project.
The project, which is to be completed in November next year, has a budget of $24.6 million US, $7 million of which is in the form of a grant from the European Union. Head of the EU's delegation, Daniela Tramasere, says the EU has allocated 80 million euros to help countries in the region go green.
The rest of the world has embraced the transition to renewable energy and energy efficiency, and there is no reason why Barbados and the Caribbean should be at full into that as well, and Barbados has demonstrated that you are fully committed. You have meaningful targets now, and we want to support you in achieving those.
The majority of the funding has come from the Inter-American Development Bank. IDB representative Juan Carlos de la Hoz Viñas has indicated the bank's interest in extending aid to the private sector as well.
As representative of the IDB group, we not only want to finance and transfer technology to the public sector, but we really want to finance private sector opportunities, because we strongly believe that only a very close and a very substantive relationship between the public and the private sector are key for development and for improving lives.
Under this component of the project, streetlights will also be retrofitted with energy-efficient technologies. The next phase will involve procuring more electric vehicles to complement the 2 already in use by government. Sharika Griffith, Cbc News.
There are calls for more youth to become involved in agriculture, and some young men are trying very hard to respond. Again, Tristan Ward tells us more.
What do you get when you add 3 young men, 1 40-foot container, and the latest technology in agriculture? As it turns out, one of the newest businesses in the sector, Inagro Inc. The trio of Rishi Panjwani, Mark Kinch, and Warren Kelman have come together to create a business fueled by hydroponic farming. Speaking with 2 of the 3 directors, the CBC team found out exactly what goes on in the operation of Inagro.
We've got 2 separate sites in the farm. There's a premature site and a mature site, which is behind us. So the premature site is where we do our seeding, and that's where the seeds actually germinate, and then we put them into our seedling trophies where they get water and they become baby seedlings. From then, we transplant into the bigger towers behind us, and this is where they grow into their mature stage, basically, where they become a full plant, and where we can either just cut them and then let them grow again, or we can harvest the whole head.
One of the more impressive areas of the business is the automation involved in its operations.
The system is a fully automated system. It runs off one motherboard called Agrotech, and basically it controls all of the nutrients and stuff like that in the container. We get notifications whenever something needs topping up or something's low, and also it has a lot to do with the humidity and stuff like that inside. There's something called a cool bot, which keeps the room at the right temperature.
Although the group was not always involved in agriculture, their mindsets were changed once they started studying overseas.
We were able to be beneficial enough to go away and study and stuff like that. We got a bit exposed to the world, and that made us more urged to go and do something away and bring something back to Barbados where we could show that we've done research and stuff. So being 3 young entrepreneurs, we basically have been doing research for years around this project, and it's now basically coming together.
Being part of the small number of youth involved in agriculture has motivated the group. However, they are hoping more young people will get on board.
We're trying to reinvent the industry here in Barbados as it is. So it's a big learning curve, and it's a lot to get people sort of bought into. But we're working on that, and I believe you'll see that this is the future of agriculture going forward, and you will see a lot more people looking to go this route in the near future.
One of the difficulties with being a young person in the sector is getting your foot in the door. But it's a challenge they are embracing.
We definitely have had quite a few people buy into it just based off of quality, and obviously price is competitive as well. But it definitely, when someone has their supplier, constant supplier there that they've been working with for a while, it's hard to sort of get them to come over, but working on it and getting there steady.
The group have ambitions of expanding in the future and catering to more than just hotels and restaurants. But what is more important to them is sharing their knowledge with other young people who are looking to sow their seeds in the industry. Tristan Ward, CBC News.
Venues updated in preparation for Carifesta 13 will not be allowed to run to ruins once the festival ends. That's according to Culture Minister Stephen Lashley. In addition to the gymnasium, the minister says the Queen's Park buildings will benefit from regular maintenance.
Admittedly, the last work in terms of refurbishment on that facility was in 1981 when we hosted our first Carifesta. And I would say to you that maintenance is an issue that we have to look at generally in relation to our buildings. I would say to you as well that a maintenance program will be put in place for the Queen's Park buildings. We would have expended quite a bit of money to make sure that that facility can be upgraded and restored. It is an historic structure, falls within the World Heritage property, and a major part of that will be a maintenance program.
We'll take a break here, but when we come back, we'll tell you about Barbados joining other countries in the region to fight youth crime.
We listened to what you had to say and tore up the old rules because losing what you paid for is just wrong. Now lost data and talk are a thing of the past. Only Digicel gives you unlimited rollover data and talk. Just buy and renew your Quick Pick bundle before it expires and keep what's rightfully yours. Never lose what you don't use. Go to My Digicel app to bundle up and roll over today. Digicel.
George, you ready for the biggest celebration of Caribbean culture this August?
Shakira, I've been couple over there then.
Nah, I mean Carifesta.
Carifesta?
Yes, it's a big regional festival that happens every 2 years. This is the best in Caribbean culture. We Bajan talent can represent. They have a grand market with 8 days of mega shopping, fashion shows, Caribbean food, and not more. And when the night hit, I can dance the place at the country night performances. I can be there every day with my Caribbean people.
Every day? Girl, I don't know if I can afford all that.
Listen, it's only $50 for a season ticket for the entire grand market, and they got a film festival at Olympus VIP Theaters and lots more events across the island. Go check out carifesta.net and Facebook.
Come experience the best of the Caribbean at the Carifesta Grand Market. Sponsored by Yellow. August 19th to 26th, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. at the Lloyd Erskine Sanford Center. Get your tickets at select box offices and online at ticketlinks.com and carifesta.net.
Barbados.
You're looking good. I love your hair, your skin, so good looking. Healthy, it must be the
Milk, Pine Hill Milk.
Flow brings you superior value in home entertainment, designed around the way you watch, talk, and connect. Introducing Flow Ultra, the new TV, broadband, and home phone plan with over 165 of your favorite TV and music channels, plus 175 megabits broadband, so you can surf faster and play harder. Get basic and advanced call features and 1,500 minutes of free international calls, all yours for only $230. Sign up for Flow Ultra and save over $180 per month. Flow Ultra, the superior value in home entertainment. New from Flow.
The entire Barbadian society is to blame for the rise in gun violence on the island. Veteran Calypsonian and social commentator, the Mighty Gabby, strongly believes many aspects of society are responsible for the problem.
If you say that you are young and that you're looking for a job or that you want to live like anybody else, two important factors should have occurred. One is, did you really take advantage of that education that was given to you when you were going to school? If the answer is no, then are you going to blame the people in the society? How can you do that? And the other thing is, did the administrators look at those people who are not quote-unquote academically inclined and find the alternative for them while they're in school? If the answer is no, then they are to blame as well. So we are no blameless people here. I am to blame. You are to blame. The preachers are to blame. The educators are to blame. The people who committing the crimes are to blame. The police are to blame. We are all to blame.
And Barbados and its regional neighbours are receiving much needed help in combating youth crime and violence. The assistance is coming through the Carry Secure project, a partnership between USAID and the United Nations Development Programme. Senior government officials, law enforcement and technical experts from 10 Caribbean countries are meeting in Barbados, working to prioritize citizen security data management and evidence-based policy making, which is part of Carry Secure. UN Resident Coordinator Stephen O'Malley says Caribbean citizens deserve to live free from crime and violence.
In our capacities as decision makers and leaders in society, it's our civic duty to safeguard this right. But how do we do that? How can we work together to ensure that public policy and state interventions are effective and responsive to the needs of citizens? UNDP, we believe that citizen and community security can be strengthened through a multidimensional approach focused on addressing the potential causes of crime and violence. But this can only be done if valid, reliable, and comparable citizen security data are readily available and accessible.
And Attorney General Adriel Brathwaite says the issue of youth and violence is not one for Barbados alone. He agrees there's need for accurate, standardized crime data to enable a scientific approach to decision making.
Reliable data provides an invaluable resource for development and implementation of evidence-based policies and programs, which in turn have the potential to reduce crime and violence among our youth population. The Criminal Justice Research Planning Unit under my ministry has been charged with the responsibility of collecting crime data, and we're working with the Carry Secure team.
U.S. Ambassador to Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, Linda Tagliatella, says gaps and deficiencies exist with respect to the collection of data in several countries.
In some cases, data is stored in paper-based systems with risks for data loss. Crimes are defined differently, making comparisons difficult. In addition, when data is pulled together, some sources of crime and violence data, like data from hospitals and forensic and victimization data, are not included.
Secondary school students could be given more time to complete their studies in the future. This as regional governments try to find ways of ensuring more young people leave school with the qualifications they need to find work. News of this from Registrar of the Caribbean Examinations Council, Glenroy Cumberbatch, as he announced the results of the 2017 exams. He says CARICOM has set up a Human Resource Commission, which recently completed a report focusing on ensuring a variety of certification is made available for children leaving school and access to those courses.
One of the things that persons are looking at is whether it is sufficient time to just spend 5 years in secondary school as opposed to giving people extra time in secondary school. And I know quite a number of governments are looking at it as a way of trying to give people greater opportunities. But that's only one area to look at, and that will be done by governments and not by CXC. The most CXC can do is to make the data available, and persons can then use those data to make decisions.
After the break, we'll take a look at stories making headlines across the region. Stay with us.
It's all about CariFesta 2017!
Peoples, it's the Caribbean Comedy Explosion, Saturday, August 26th at the Cigar Feed Sober Gymnasium.
I am Ram. And I am Coke. And together we are Ram and Coke. August 26th, we want you to be there for the Caribbean Comedy Explosion. It's happening right there at the Wildy Gymnasium.
Correct. All the islands will be represented from Barbados, Guyana, Trinidad, Jamaica, all the islands.
Right after CariFesta. And let me tell you, when you come to Caribbean Comedy Explosion and you don't have a good time, we are going to guarantee you your money back. What? Well, not us. Them. They will give you your money back, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, Day and Nothing Light
or Rum and Coke.
August 26th, be there. Caribbean Comedy Explosion.
Saturday, August 26th, the Garfield Stobers Gymnasium. Peoples, get your tickets from official box offices only.
The Mount Gay 94.7 FM Come Line with We promotion continues this weekend. All the back in time and old school vibes you just love to hear on 94.7 FM. Enjoy the karaoke sessions, good food, and of course, share Mount Gay with a friend. You could be the lucky person to unlock the Mount Gay treasure chest and take away over $1,000 in cash and prizes. Look out for 94.7 FM at a shop or bar near you this and every Saturday until August. So come, line with me this Saturday night from 7 p.m. until midnight. Tune in to 94.7 FM or visit the Facebook page at CBC 94.7 FM for weekly venues.
We begin in Trinidad and Tobago, where over 100 workers of the Tourism Development Company today received retrenchment letters. It comes 5 months after Tourism Minister Shamfa Kujo made a public announcement that the TDC would be dissolved and workers sent home. We hear more in this CNC3 report.
To see my hard work at the airport, helping people marketing this country, right? You know, to just go down the drain like that. To just tell me thank you.
7 months pregnant and officially retrenched, Tennille Braffett has worked with the TDC for the past 7 years and was today in tears as she left the company's Barataria office.
I understand it's supposed to be a happy time for me, but my colleagues, you know, it's a very stressful thing the government is doing to us, sending us home. No compassion at all. You understand? But God is good, right? He will see us through.
Communication Workers Union General Secretary Clyde Elder says now that the company has obeyed the court's instruction to engage the union, they can move forward. 111 employees were given their 45 days notice effective September 28, 2017, but no particulars of any retrenchment packages were outlined in the letters.
During the period, the union and the company will engage in discussions with a view to either getting a better package, or if we can't get that, at least we get an assurance that people are going to be transferred into the new entity.
Meanwhile, the union has refuted a newspaper article today which claimed the CWU put forward 50 TDC employees' names to be considered for employment in the new tourism company, the Tourism Trinidad Destination Management Company Limited.
The union did not supply to TDC, to the government, or to anybody, any list of 50 names, or 1 or 10, or any amount at all relative to persons being employed in new entity. We did not do that.
In Guyana, recommendations have been made to the judiciary to allow the use of innovative measures to have court matters addressed in the interior locations. The aim is to reduce delays in the justice system there. Kristen McClingham reports.
In light of court sessions only taking place once per quarter, the Rights of the Child Commission has recommended that there be alternative methods to address the issue of delayed justice and backlog of cases. This is according to Investigative and Research Officer of the RCC, Andre Gonzalez.
We did proposed to the judiciary to have this particular system set up where court can be held through. It's considered CCTV, but for those who don't understand it, it's something like Skype, where the magistrate perhaps doesn't have to leave Georgetown, and the court could be held in a centralized location, maybe Lethem, maybe Mabaruma, Port Kaituma, or the likes. So it is not impossible.
Mr. Gonzalez explained that such a move may require legislative changes, but it is doable and will ease the burden of the judicial system in the hinterland communities, since there are occasions in which the quarterly court dates are not convenient for some parties.
And 99% of the time, they're always either the magistrate can't make it. So even though it's 4 times, it might end up being 1 time a year. Right? Or there are situations where the attorney themselves can't make the court hearing at that time.
The Investigative and Research Officer of the RCC added that such measures, once taken, will also provide relief for victims and families of victims who will not be denied their rights of having justice served in a timely manner.
Well, turning now to news from Dominica, we hear that over 11,000 students have benefited from the I Can See Clearly iCare program.
The program, a collaborative effort between the governments of Dominica and Cuba, got underway officially in December 2016. Through the joint efforts of the Ministries of Education and Health, 11,361 of the island's 13,000 school population was seen at the first level of the program conducted by local healthcare professionals. Those who failed first-level screening proceeded to second-level screening that was carried out by a team of Cuban doctors who arrived here in April. Of the 11,361 students seen at the first level, 8,725 had normal vision, while 2,636 needed to be seen at the second level. However, not all students were seen at the second level, as a registered 2,051 of the 2,636 were actually further assessed. A total of 956 students were prescribed eyeglasses, while 60 were referred for further assessment for conditions such as glaucoma. Further consultations are carried out by local ophthalmologist Dr. Hazel Shillingford Ricketts. The coordinator of the school vision program has encouraged parents to listen to their children and take the necessary action when they complain about their vision.
A lot of the children have vision problems. You would imagine children between the age from the preschool, the first form K to grade 6 in the primary school already have problems for glaucoma. And most times some children will say to us, I told my parents I cannot see, and they did not take me on. So I'm not saying that to put parents down, but to allow us to know as parents we have a responsibility. And the children we have, they are gifts to us. And we have a responsibility to help them to maximize their potential. And when they get to a point and they're complaining about something, please don't ignore them. Whether you take them and it's not anything, then you don't take them. And now when we find them, a child has an eye pressure of over 25 in one eye, and so that says a lot to us. And some of them have chronic conditions that needs continuous intervention.
Data entry on the program is still ongoing, and full results will be published at a later date.
A peek into the world of sports is just ahead, but before we get to that, here is a tip from Cooperators General Insurance.
This tip of the day is brought to you by Cooperators General Insurance Company Limited. Insurance the way you want it to be.
Be on the alert. Drive around the ATM machine and survey the area prior to approaching it. This ATM safety tip is brought to you in association with the Royal Barbados Police Force.